Samantha Niblett to move the motion.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and it's a real honour to serve under your chairship, and it's a real honour that this is my very first Westminster Hall debate that I have secured, and it really means something that it's to talk about animal welfare, and I'm sure I share a room with equally compassionate and animal-friendly colleagues. Now, the UK has a proud and long-standing history of championing animal welfare. Back in 1822, this country led the world with the Cruel Treatment of Cattle Act, the first ever piece of animal welfare legislation anywhere on the globe. That legacy continues today through to the incredible organisations we are fortunate to have here in the UK. The RSPCA, Cats Protection, the Blue Cross, the PDSA, which provides free veterinary services to sick or injured pets, Battersea Cats and Dogs Homes, and South Derbyshire's very own Wonky Pet Rescue in Swadlincote. I am immensely proud of this Labour government that it is committed to delivering the most ambitious animal welfare strategy in a generation. Whether we're talking about cats and dogs who share our homes, or the working animals who give disabled people independence, or those who support our police force and airport staff in keeping us safe, we owe animals a huge debt of gratitude. I grew up with pets, and until recent years, my daughter did too. Now, sadly, the demands of this job and the lifestyle it requires, and my personal lifestyle, makes having pets impractical for me at the moment. It would feel selfish, but I have no doubt that my time will come again. I see how my mum and stepdad organise their entire lives around their little dogs, Rosie and Oliver, which is why I often smile when people talk about pet owners. In reality, they own us, or rather, they are family members. Animals are sentient beings, capable of feeling pain, fear and joy. That places a responsibility on all of us to protect them, and it is reassuring that 85% of UK adults agree that we have a moral duty to safeguard animal welfare.
Could my honourable friend give way?
I will give way.
I'd like to thank my honourable friend, who's a fantastic advocate for animals and for the people in her constituency, and I'm really grateful she's secured this debate. I want to thank all of my constituents who've written to me to advocate for animals. We're clearly a nation of animal lovers. And last year, I wrote to the government to request a ban on the barbaric electric shock collars and to raise concerns about the Warwickshire hunt and its damage to local wildlife. Does my honourable friend agree with me that this strategy will tackle those concerns and that we must do all we can to protect our precious animals?
Yeah. I absolutely agree with my honourable friend. I know she's a big animal lover herself, and we certainly have that in common. And I absolutely agree that this welfare strategy is going to tackle that, and I will address some of those points later on in my speech. So we have a moral duty to safeguard animal welfare, and most people agree with us. And that is why I warmly welcome this Labour government's recent animal welfare strategy. What a wonderful Christmas present it was for so many of us. The strategy sets out clear ambitions to be achieved by 2030, improving the lives of companion animals, wild animals, farmed animals and animals overseas. It commits to addressing loopholes around breeding, banning snare traps, delivering on our manifesto commitment to ban trail hunting and introducing standards for the humane killing of fish.
Will my honourable friend give way on that one?
I will give way.
I thank my honourable friend for giving way. I feel the need to say that, like 52% of the population, I'm a dog owner myself, the wonderful Nico Ingham, and I was so pleased to see that the government will be consulting on introducing a registration scheme for dog breeders to get rid of the issue of dodgy breeders and puppy farms, which many of my constituents and staff at Eccleshall and the villages have written to me about. Will my honourable friend agree with me that this is a crucial first step towards a kinder future for dogs across the country?
I absolutely agree with my honourable friend. This is a crucial first step. I can't understand how anybody in all good conscience can run a puppy farm, but I understand how some people have the wool pulled over their eyes to buy from a puppy farm. So if we take away puppy farms as an option, then they won't be tricked. The scale of this issue is vast. There are an estimated 35 million pets living in the UK, with the pet care market worth £8.2 billion and forecast to grow by 7% annually. At the same time, there are around 150 million farmed animals in England at any one time, 22 million cattle, sheep and pigs, and 133 million poultry. The livestock sector contributes 20.1 billion to the UK economy, thanks to the hard work of our farmers. While strengthening animal welfare standards here in the UK is vital, this must go hand in hand with Baroness Batter's report and with genuine partnership working with farmers who are already driving standards upwards. Crucially, we must ensure they are properly supported and paid for this work. Now, I welcome the government's decision to transition to non-cage cage systems and to consult on phasing out enriched colony cages for laying hens. I support Compassion in World Farming's End the Cage campaign. These cages severely restrict hens' movement, preventing them from running, flapping their wings, dust bathing and foraging, behaviours that are fundamental to their welfare. At my last coffee morning in Burnston, it was good to speak about farming again with my constituent Angela Sargent, this time about her concerns regarding salmonella in eggs from imported cage birds. Personally, I never buy eggs from caged birds, but I fully appreciate that not everyone can afford to make that choice and must opt for the cheapest option available. This issue also has serious implications for British farmers, who are placed at a competitive disadvantage by tariff-free imports on eggs from caged Ukrainian hens. The same point applies equally for meat imports. I will give way.
I thank her for giving way and for bringing this debate forward as well today. Animal welfare is a cause very close to my heart and to so many across the Filton and Bradley Stoke constituency. And I wonder if she would join me in paying tribute to local campaigners who've helped keep these issues at the heart of the agenda, even while the last Conservative government was very slow to act.
I thank my honourable friend for her intervention. We all know as MPs that we are pulled in every direction by lots and many people, and it is hard to be in all the places at all the times, but we know that the issues that cut through the most are the ones that are campaigned on the hardest and the heaviest. So I'm super grateful to campaign groups that have absolutely helped, I have no doubt, shape this animal welfare strategy. I am reassured that this Labour government recognises animal welfare as a global issue and has committed to continuing work with organisations such as the World Organisation for Animal Health and the World Trade Organisation to champion high standards internationally and promote best practice. Public support for this approach is overwhelming. A 2021 NFU survey found that 86% of respondents believe animal welfare standards for imports should match those in the UK, while a Which survey found that 87% of people agree that imported food should meet our animal welfare standards. Each year, approximately 40 to 45 million male chicks from conventional laying hen breeds are culled within 12 to 36 hours of hatching. It is encouraging then that the UK egg industry is exploring technology to sex eggs before chicks are born, with the aim of eliminating the need for this practice. While I welcome the government's ambition to end the killing of day-old chicks, it is essential that we work closely with the farming industry to ensure these costs are not unfairly passed on to farmers and that any transition happens on a realistic timeline. Similarly, I will give way.
Thank the Honourable Member for giving way, and I thank my Honourable friend for securing this debate. In relation to male chick culling, does the Honourable Member agree with me that assessment has been done and it would be approximately 1p per egg in cost to introduce in oval sexing in eggs in this country? I visited the Netherlands on Monday to actually visit one of these facilities, and they said in the Netherlands it costs approximately 1 cent on an egg.
I didn't know that fact, and I'm really grateful for her to that. But of course, one of the challenges we have are the lack of profit in farming. And so actually, I really welcome the fact that this Labour government is committing to help our farmers to become more profitable, so that 1p per egg is not something that maybe sounds very little when you say it, but actually has a heavy impact on farmers' productivity and profitability. Similarly, we must listen carefully to farmers when considering how to move away from the use of farrowing crates for sows. While these crates are designed to protect piglets from being crushed, they also significantly restrict the sow's movement and raise serious welfare concerns. For many animal lovers, perhaps the most challenging part of this strategy is the issue of slaughter, even for those of us who eat meat. So I will just say the bit of a trigger warning now, because I will talk about things that might upset a few people. Each year, just over 1 billion meat chickens are reared and slaughtered in the UK. I agree with the government that all animals should be spared avoidable pain and distress at the point of killing, while also respecting the right of people to eat meat prepared in accordance with their religious beliefs. For example, a significant portion of halal meat comes from animals that are stunned before slaughter to render them unconscious and insensible to pain. Slaughtermen are required to check for signs of consciousness between stunning and death, and certification bodies such as the Halal Food Authority enforce these standards through regular audits and inspections, combining ancient principles with modern safeguards. However, a significant portion does not mean all animals, and I understand and share the concerns of those who were worried about the percentage that are not stunned before slaughter. While on the difficult subject of end of life for animals, I was grateful to the British Association for Shooting and Conservation for inviting me to a game dinner last November. I feel far more comfortable eating meat from animals that have lived a full life in open spaces in our beautiful Derbyshire countryside, whose deaths were carried out swiftly by trained conservationists who play a key role in conservation, pest control and habitat management. Even for animals we do not eat, such as grey squirrels that damage young trees, I am grateful to those who help manage our countryside and parks responsibly and humanely. Turning back to our pets, I met vets Catherine and Kieran Patel back in October.
Would my honourable friend give way?
I will give way.
I thank my honourable friend for giving way. We've seen a drastic increase in the price of vet bills over the last couple of years. Would she agree with me that we need better regulations, for more transparency, and to bring bills back for my residents and our residents? Thank you.
I absolutely agree with my honourable friend, and he's picked the right moment to mention this because I'm just about to mention this. So turning back to our pets, I met vets Catherine and Kieran Patel back in October at their newly opened independent practice in Bretby. They'd like an updated Veterinary Surgeons Act. They shared concerning insights with me about how a small number of large corporates dominate the sector, particularly in relation to fees and prescription charges. In December, the Competition and Markets Authority published its provisional findings in its investigation into veterinary services for household pets, identifying competition concerns. Now, many pet owners would welcome clearer pricing for common services, capped prescription charges and transparency around practice ownership. That said, the broader challenges facing veterinary practices and the cost pressures on pet owners deserves a debate in its own right. And I know my good friend, the member for Paisley-Renfrewshire South, has been doing a huge amount of work in this space. My constituent, David Llewellyn of Walton-on-Trent, is a strong advocate for reforming regulations around puppy farming. And I'm delighted that as set out in our manifesto, we are committed to ending puppy farming and puppy smuggling.
Would you give way?
I will give way.
I thank my honourable friend for giving way and for securing the debate. Puppy farming is a cruel practice, with puppies being taken from their mothers early, kept in poor conditions and sold through misleading adverts. And it also creates distress for the families who unknowingly buy dogs raised in this way. Would my honourable friend therefore join me in welcoming the Animal Welfare Strategy's commitment to end puppy farming and call on the government to ensure that this practice is ended as soon as possible?
I absolutely join with my honourable friend in praising this government for putting an end to puppy farming. As we've discussed earlier with other concerned colleagues, it is barbaric, and so many people that buy from puppy farms have been tricked into doing so. So putting an end to it is absolutely the right thing to do. I am proud that this Labour government passed the Animal Welfare Act 2025, banning the import of dogs and cats under 6 months old, those that have been declawed or had their ears cropped, and those that are heavily pregnant. My constituent, Lexi Island, is Vice Chair of Basil's Forever Sofa, which rescues Romanian dogs and rehomes them in the UK. And she contacted me with concerns that, unless carefully drafted, the legislation could inadvertently prevent legitimate charities from rescuing dogs with cropped ears or dock tails. I wrote to Baroness Hayman, who reassured me that all necessary exemptions will be provided through secondary legislation. I also welcome the Act's power to prevent the supply of low welfare pets to the UK, such as stray animals brought back from overseas holidays. Cats Protection have raised concerns, though, that the strategy does not go far enough in delivering what they describe as meaningful protection for cats and kittens, particularly around irresponsible breeding, including the breeding of bully cats. They've also called for a single point of search for cat microchipping, something which I must confess I had assumed existed already. I welcome the government's decision to reconvene the Responsible Dog Ownership Task Force, which provides an opportunity to reduce dog attacks and improve safety in public areas. While I believe the XL bunny ban was under the previous government was the right decision at the time, given the tragic loss of life we were seeing, I also recognise the heartbreak experienced by responsible pet owners whose well-loved dogs were cherished family members. I agree with this government's concerns about the welfare implications of e-collars and support positive reward-based training as the preferred approach. And later in this Parliament, we'll consult on whether to ban e-collars, following the example already set in Wales. The Hunting Act is now 20 years old, yet concerns persist about illegal hunting taking place under the guise of trail hunting. I have heard from farmers and landowners who oppose trail hunting due to the land damage but feel under pressure to allow it. Trail hunting was banned on National Trust land in 2022 due to animal welfare concerns, with Forestry England, several local authorities and private estates following suit, often citing environmental damage. Well, I am glad we are banning it altogether. I also support this Labour government's decision to end the use of snares. A YouGov poll in January 2025 found that 71% of adults in England believe that snares should be illegal. I welcome the review of other traps, including those used indoors, while noting concerns raised by the British Pest Control Association that banning smaller traps could increase chemical use. Chemical use is a concern more broadly. My constituent, Harriet Redfern, first contacted me after losing her beloved dog, believing non-pet-friendly pesticides were to blame. She knew of others with similar experiences, including Lisa, who shared her anguish with me during a horse safety ride that I attended, organised by Councillor Anne Hughes, who's chair of Overfield Parish Council. On the subject of horses, I welcome the strategy's commitment to exploring measures to prevent equines being exported for slaughter, but there is also an urgent issue here in the UK, and that is one of road safety affecting horses and their riders, who are disproportionately women. Mary Holland, who invited me to those horse safety rides, is part of the Pass Wide and Slow campaign, which calls for better driver education to ensure horses, riders and motorists are kept safe. I'm sure that campaigners would welcome provision for this in future iterations of the animal welfare strategy. Now, something that struck me that Sally Barker commented on my Facebook post when I announced this strategy before Christmas. She wrote, "Whilst I applaud this, we are quite clearly no longer a nation of animal lovers, because if we were, this would not be necessary." And she has a really valid point. And it really made me sad, because there will always be awful people that will not treat animals right. So I am glad that our animal welfare strategy seeks to provide protections. It balances compassion with practicality, ambition with partnership, and ethics with economic reality. From pets and farm animals to wildlife and working animals, from domestic change to global leadership, this strategy sets a clear direction of travel. Animal welfare is not a niche issue. It speaks to who we are as a society in the main. I am proud that this Labour government is rising to that challenge, listening to constituents, working with farmers and experts, and placing animal welfare firmly at the heart of public policy. I look forward to continuing this work and to seeing these commitments translated into real and lasting change for animals across the UK and beyond. Thank you.